Okay, once again, we welcome. Thank you very much for this session is going to be the qualities or attributes. How do you get an emerging leader? How do you first note them? How do you take note of? How do you select them? How do you identify them? Because by so doing, you will be able to see that you are developing is not going to become a problem. Most of the things that we're having is taking somebody who doesn't even have any potential and begin to pour your life into such a person over and over and over. Now you discover that you are doing a good job. He is also doing a good job by listening to you, following you, but you are not seeing results. So definitely there are going to be some things that you are going to see. There are some qualities, there are some attributes, there are some, let's use this word, signs that you're going to see in a protege that you want to actually develop. So we're going to be looking at those things. You don't just go like that. You know, Jesus Christ, when he started his on, he first of all has to go to the place where those people were. He came to the place where Peter was, and then he saw him walking. And he saw the person that, look, this person, if he is responsible on his own, he is doing something on his own, or he is helping his father to do the business, which is or which was a family business. He just looked at it and said, these people, they can be improved. I can develop them better. I can move them from where they are to. You don't just go get somebody flat that is just lazy lying down. You say, okay, come, let me develop you and make you into a great leader. Such people, you are going to find they are going to repel. You are going to pour everything like you're doing, and it's just going to be like you are aiming at a rock. So, but we're going to be looking at some of these things that you can actually see. That when you see them, you'll be able to know. The first of it is necessary quality that you're going to be looking at is influence. Now, influence all over the world has been mentioned over and over and over, and we appreciate John C. Maxwell for great things he has done. He has simplified influence and make it just very simple. He will give us a definition like we all know, those of you who have been following him, that leadership is influence. That's all he will say. But you see, you need to also follow him to see how deep he actually went on to explain what actually that simple statement is all about. Potential leaders, which are emerging leaders that you want to develop, always have natural ability to influence others. Natural ability to influence others. You know, you see this everywhere. You know, many years ago in boarding schools, specifically the 70s, 80s, you know, you go to school, most of the people that can cause riot actually to take place in any school or in any college were influencers. You know, somebody can just say, hey, let's go. We will not take this breakfast today. Is this, is that. Therefore, we are going to say no to the food master. And what happened was that he will so influence the rest of his classmates and the whole school, including both juniors and seniors, and they will go into rioting. You know, I remember in my own, there was a time that they have to just carry all those things and put on top of the food master. You know, it was very bad, but somebody started. So I want you to understand that the first thing you are going to look at the first characteristics of the emerging leaders that you are going to, so that you don't just randomly begin to run around. You have to see some specific things, and that's what I'm talking about, potential leaders. You're going to find out that these people actually have natural ability to influence. If you put 6 children together and leave them outside, by the time you come back after 30 minutes, somebody is actually leading them. Somebody has suggested something. Somebody can actually say, well, look, let's carry stones. Let's go and stone that place. Before you know, the rest of the five are following. Why? Because somebody is there. It's not that actually he wants to lead, and it's not that he actually is telling them, I am your leader, but it's like there is something in him that influences others easily, and others also are going to follow. So let's look at those are the things that I want you to. So the first thing you're going to look at when you are going to develop emerging leaders, look at people that have the power or the capacity or the naturalness to influence others to do something, even if they were not ready to do so. Now, you will also find out that this kind of people, they have a small suggestion that let's do this, and before you know, the people are following the suggestion. Somebody is out there trying to run to make sure that it happens. Now, you will also come to discover that somebody has wisdom that other people respect. Simple wisdom. When he speaks, other people just know that, that's what we really needed. And so sometimes you find out that when somebody, one or two, are in a crisis, they will run to that person. It's not that he is telling them, I'm going to be your leader, I'm going to be your guide, I'm going to be your counselor. No. They just discover that, when he speaks, there is something about him that brings out this. So leadership at its core is all about influence. And we are. Now, John C. Maxwell also, in one of his books, he actually began to speak, and he said that when the real leader speaks, people listen. You'll find out that if you are not careful, if let's say we want to maybe we want to raise 5,000, and you bring three people to raise 5,000. One person is going to talk. 5,000 is not going to come. The other person is going to come and do something. Hardly can we get 3,000. Somebody will just come, and before you know, he just say one or two things, and then they are getting 6,000. And they will say, we needed 5, so this is an extra. Why? Because actually influence has to do with leadership. And it is. Now, I'm not saying that just because you have influence, you are going to be a great leader. Now, that is just one part of what is going to be considered in raising people or developing people. So I want you to always look at people who have the ability to influence others. When you are doing a work, or you are in a class, or you have a project, or there is a cleaning, or there is something you want to do, you'll find out that people will just sit down, be lazing around. Somebody will just come around. Before you know, everybody is on top of their feet. And what are they doing? They are trying to make that work which has been there for some hours, and they're trying to work on it. All I'm saying is that look for people who have the natural ability to influence their peers. The second quality we're going to be looking at here is, let us look at the word character. Now, there is influence, but then there is also character. And we must constantly look at that word character. Now, character, you are going to find out that the person has to be honest and then to be humble. Now, you're going to see all of that. There are people that are kind. There are people that empathize. There are people that are good. There are people that think. There are people that are humble. There are people that are very honest. They are also stable. And then they are also teachable. You're going to find people that are full of integrity towards stewardship. And there are also people you're going to. So these people with these things I just mentioned, they are a sign that you can. There are people who are not leaders, but they are very honest. There are people who are not leading anything. They have had a lot of achievement, but they are humble. There are people also that are very, very stable. Stable, which means crisis come, it doesn't shift them easily. situations. People can invite them for evil. They are always stable, firm, and strong. Those people are. And then there are people that are teachable. Even if you are teaching something that they know, they still behave as if they don't know anything except that you are saying it for the first time. And there are people that are very good at stewardship. Whatever you give them, you will come and find it. They know how to be responsible and accountable over whatever has been entrusted into their lives. I want you to know this issue of character is actually great. And we have it on a very simple point that character is actually patient endurance, the ability to suffer long without giving up, the ability to stay in a situation and that it does not affect your attitude and change you into another person, that you are stable even in a worse situation, that you are good in a bad situation, that your communication is not altered by bad communication, as in responding to somebody who probably insults you, abuse you, or is being mean at you. You are stable. So I want you to know, look up these things in the people that are around you, because they are the ones you are. If you do not, you are going to go and start something that the person is dishonest. You're going to find that he is completely pompous and he has a lot of attitude of pride and obnoxiousness. You're going to find that he's not accountable. You're going to also find that he's not teachable. And you will start to begin to develop them. You'll be wasting your time. So for you to shorten the journey of leadership development of the emerging leaders, you have to look at some of these things. And I want you to also understand, like I said before, that you have to actually pray, because the Holy Spirit actually is going to guide us. For those of us that are Christians, you have to begin to pray and find out how many that you have actually selected. You will still further go, and the Spirit of the Lord will prompt and tell you exactly what to do. Now, you are not going to be saying, well, okay, I prayed, the Lord said, you go away, you stay. No, you are not going to do that. That is why you are a leader. You are not going to send somebody away as if, okay, the person is not going to fit into the system of being developed, or is completely out of leadership, as in he is not or she is not qualified. So we have to find out that the person is going to be. So for those of you who are faith-based and you are Christians, such a person should have a total obedience to the Spirit of God and is yielding to the things that God has committed to. What are we going to be looking at? Look at certain qualities like answerable to authority, yieldedness to authority, loyal to authority, and then respect and honor to authority. You know, sometimes you're going to find people who, they are actually good leaders, but because of character, they are going to be out of the whole thing. There are people that are very, very nice, but if you check where they are leaking is in the area of character. So character actually is everything. Character is everything. John C. Maxwell actually took a whole time and wrote a book and talked about the 21 irrefutable qualities or essential qualities of a leader. And all of that is just about character. So you have to be looking at commitment. The person has to be committed. It's not every day you're going to be meeting your proteges or your mentees and be telling them, get up and do something, assigning them. No. Sometimes they initiate, and it will come greatly from the ability of having character. And then there are people that are supposed to be answerable to authority. You know, you don't just kick against authority just because you know or because they are wrong. You actually have to reason. At what point do I say no to an authority? And at what point also is my submission? To what extent am I going to do that? The second quality for you to look at when you want to raise people and develop them to become better leaders is that you have to check what is their character level. The third quality is great. First, you just know very well that you have to have somebody who has the ability to influence. The second one is you're going to have people that are actually having great character traits that you can actually look at that are good. And then the third one, you're going to be looking at the third one is people skills. Now, people skills and influence look like they are the same, but they are not the same. They are actually not the same. People skill is the ability to relate with people, to work as a team, to honor, respect, and get their input, to give them first priority and preference. When you have people skill, you almost look like you are the last always to speak. Why? Because you want to give them the opportunity. You want to give them the privilege. You want to hear them. You want to expose them. You want to make them become your priority. And when you keep doing that, you will actually have this. So, people skill simply means being sensitive to others. Now, we have temperaments, and then we have personalities. If you are a people person, first you're going to study the people that you are going to develop. You're going to know their temperaments. You're going to know their personality. You're going to know their types. What kind of person is this? There are some that are pragmatic. There are some that are very pushy. There are some that are very slow. There are some that are very sharp. There are some that you don't need to actually explain a lot of things to them. You just tell them something, they will improvise and make it. But people skill simply means knowing people, honoring people, working with people, building teams, and making sure that you are not using them and you are not taking advantage of who they are. So you need to understand it. You have to be sensitive to the thought and feelings of others. You cannot be a leader just because you want people to make you achieve what you are looking for. No, that is one bad aspect of us as leaders. We want people to meet our needs, meet our demands, meet our project, do us this, do us that. That might not be a very good leadership, and it is not. But if you are a good leader, the third point you're going to actually begin to look at, even in yourself, you must be a people person. Find out from your proteges or mentees who has very sensitive thoughts towards others and feelings. Empathy is to take the place of somebody who is passing through challenges or a situation that demands maybe is lack, or there is something that's going on. You have to come into his own position, and empathy is actually taking the need of other people to make a provision for what they are trusting God for. You have to also look at people. If you are seeing somebody who has the ability to listen, a lot of people don't know that listening is a quality. And so they just, when you are speaking, they are doing something else. They can hardly give you their time. They can hardly listen to you correctly, and then they will always assume. They think this is what you said. They say, oh no, I was thinking this is what you say when you say that. Now you have to listen, and you have to also pick people that have great ability to listen. Listening is a quality, and I mean listen to also their ideas. How do you get them? You start discussing with them. Jesus, in as much as he was their mentor, he listened to their conversations. He listened to their feelings. I mean, he felt. Sometimes he see their facial expressions, and sometimes he see them in sharp arguments, and sometimes he sees them in doubt. Now that is what actually is going to be. And because he was sensitive to their feelings and to their thoughts and to whatever is going to be, sometimes he will pick up a conversation and all of them will start speaking and certain things will begin to happen. I want you, as you begin to pick emerging leaders that you want to train them, check and get those people that have listening ears and who actually are ready to. He began to speak, that is Jesus himself now, and he started telling us that he who has ears to hear, let him hear. Why is he saying that? Which means there are some ears that cannot just hear. And you can't pick people to develop them as leaders. Well, they themselves, they don't have the capacity to listen to. So, because in most of your training, it has to be teachings. And they have to listen to you. And they have to also assimilate that teaching that you are given before it will become actions in the future. But the greatest point is that these of your proteges, there must be people that are good in listening. I want you to also know that you don't also, these are people who are not looking at somebody and say, well, I'm going to use you to get an end to my means. No, no. Generally, when you have people that have actually become great at people's skills, they always provide solutions. They always provide answers. They always lay down their lives for those people. Their focus is to make somebody better in any other way. Even if they rebuke you, it's because they want to make you better. If they want to tell you something that is not right according to what you are thinking, or is very straight and is sharp, it's because they still love you and they want the best to come out of you. I want you to look at it very well that we have impressive leadership skills and we have to have also relational attitude. Impressive leadership skills can come in different ways. But you see, relational is at the top of every other thing. You can be a person of a great skill. You can have great competence. You can be a great communicator. You can be a great strategist. You can be a great initiator. But you see, if there is a problem with your relationship with others, which is a relational deficiency, you're going to find out that people are going to, people will just not, you will not love, you will not work with people the way you actually intend. People will avoid you. They will just avoid you because there is no reason to have competence without the ability to relate well with other people. And these are the things that we are. Have you heard somebody say, oh, no, that person's a very good person, but you cannot correct him? That person's a very good person, but his attitude towards people is that. Oh no, that person's a good person, but he always put people down. Now you need to come out from those things. We have all this popular statement that your gift can take you to wherever you are at the peak of your performance, but it's your character that can keep you there. It's not your gift. So I want you to begin to, even if right now you are a mentee, these are the things that you have to cultivate. Cultivate the ability to become a people skills. Now, you are given an opportunity to work with a mentor. That does not mean you have arrived. So you're not going to be equaling your shoulders with your mentor. That is what I'm talking about. That humility comes to be at that particular point. Knowing authority also it is. And then furthermore, just know at what level you are supposed to actually stay. People are going to come to your mentor. You don't know them. You don't know who they are. So you are not just going to say, okay, this is my mentor. I will honor him, and every other person that is around him, I'm not going to honor. No. You have to know how to relate. In fact, if you're going to be a very good mentee, is to honor the people that your master honors. That is going to be one great thing that is going to be. So it has to be. Top leaders have people skills. Top leaders. Jesus actually related with every person. Everybody related with him. The religious top-notch people related with Jesus. Prostitutes related with Jesus. Small children related with. Beggars, they related. The blind and the deaf, they also came in. Widows, they were able to. Great military men and people in high authority, they related with. Jesus Christ actually moved around with almost everybody. Why? Because he had people skills. And he addresses their issues according to the level of their understanding. And he knew that he had answers for all the things that it is. Some questions were asked to derogate him. Some questions were asked to insult him. Some questions were asked to discredit him. Some questions were asked to tempt him and test him. But he didn't say, I know where you're going, and started jumping on their heads. No. He actually behaved as if he didn't even know the aim of their questions. I want you to come to a place where they must be able to relate winsomely to have a wider range of people. Now, if you have good people skills, you play the aspect of winning, because the essence of leadership is to impact somebody's life. And if we don't win them, we cannot impact their lives. We cannot change who they are. So you are not compromising. That's not the word I'm using. But I am saying that you have to actually be where you are, allowing them to actually come into, giving them hope and drawing them closer. Because at the long run, you just want them to become good people. So you are going to begin to create an atmosphere that is open and free to win others to come to you. And that is going to be. I also want you to look for leaders that are also well developed in people's skill. You are going to find people definitely that already what you are looking for in this number 3, they already have it. And what you need to do is to also get them. They are going to also help you, and you will also help them to do the things that they are doing. The 4th one we are going to be looking at is quality to drive. You know, the quality to drive. This is looking like you have to. Because when you see young people, when you see them and you have spotted them out, you have identified them, and now you want to develop them. While you are doing that, you should be looking at, can this person drive? You know, can this person move something from A to B, from B to C, or they just got stuck? Or every day you're going to be pushing them like wheelbarrow. You're going to push them from behind, and you're going to be screaming and shouting and yelling at them. No, no. I want to let you know, all of you that are young, and those of you who are being mentored, and those of you who also are working under authority. What are the things that you should avoid? Avoid your own person who you are looking up to always come around and be yelling at you and be reminding you of things to do and be calling your attention to certain things and be opening or pointing at some things that you should have done that you are not seeing. That is not a very good way. If you're going to be a very good protege, I just want you to understand, learn to drive. It is actually said, don't allow a piece of paper stay in your hands twice, which means don't leave assignment for tomorrow. You cannot procrastinate that one to tomorrow. If there's something for you to do now, do it just now. And if we do it now, it's going to help us to come to that point. You can do a lot of things and it will be done. So first, do you have the drive? Can you, it looks like you are a person who inspires. But this one is that you have an assignment, there's something for you to do, there's a deadline, or there is something we have agreed we are going to achieve. Are we going to achieve it at a longer time because we are slow, or we are just going to come into it? And there are many, many books that have been written, especially on this quality, the ability to drive, to make things happen within the shortest time. There are people that when you call them, and you give them something to do, they will do it in 6 hours. Somebody can do it in 12 hours. Somebody will do it in 24 hours. Somebody will do it the same assignment. Somebody will take 2 days. They will always be telling you, I'm coming. They will tell you, give me some time. They will tell you, I'm trying to figure out. Somebody is saying, I am working on it. No, I want you to understand this. The best thing you're going to do is, if you are being developed as an emergent leader, just be there to drive. Make it happen. Punch it. Move. Give extra time. Move on it. Make sure you find the fastest way of doing it. Because when you do it on a fast level, you'll be given another one. So the more assignments you achieve, the more things you execute, the more you grow. And the more you have a lot of experience. Because of your experiences, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding comes in, because that's where it is. I want you to look for the drive here. We are talking about action-driven persons. Action-driven persons. It's not people who just talk. No. People who actually talk, and then they translate what they are saying into action, and they achieve. Then they say something. So look for action-oriented people who are comfortable in taking initiative. They have to take initiative. Sometimes we always believe that leaders know what to do. That is not a true statement. Leaders, at most times, they don't really know what to do. And sometimes they are actually giving you an assignment that they also cannot do. So, but when you are a person that is action-oriented and you are a person that can take initiative, it means you can create. So you can actually do that one and help your boss, and by so doing, all of you are going. But I'm saying this, don't just get people and say you're going to develop them if they are not so passionate to move and get things done within a specified time, even shorter than the time frame that has been. I want you to understand the person is going to take action, and sometimes it has to be immediate action. Now, the point is that good leaders make things happen. This is what I am saying. Good leaders. Don't surround yourself with just people that you are teaching, and there's no graduation. Teaching, and then you are not deploying. You are not going to be doing a good job. Now, when you do, in 3 years, Jesus took his disciples. How many times has he sent them? Plenty times. Sometimes he will withdraw and don't allow them to. Sometimes he will come and tell them and say, look, there are people here who are hungry. What are you going to? You feed them. He will tell them, you find a way of feeding them. And sometimes they will say, the disciples will come and say, today, where do you want to take your supper? They initiated, they work on it. All of them interchangeably were doing it. And I want you, as somebody who is developing emerging leaders, I want you to look at people who make things happen. Not people who are going to just talk and then you have some things to do and they are not. I am really talking about people that have so much energy. A person who drives is not a lazy person. He has a lot of energy. I wanted to look at those people whose energy is also going to contagiously affect others. There are people who are very hilarious. When a place is looking dull and or an assignment is being dragged, somebody will come in and just punch it and say, look, let's go. And everybody is energized and filled with strength to continue and to do what is being given. I want to let you know the final quality that you are going to look for when you want to have leaders that you want to develop. Is intelligence. And we are going to look at this. Now, you remember, if you check very well, there are about 5 that you're going to look for in the people that you want to develop. Now, and you have to look at that aspect. So what is intelligence? How do you see intelligence in a person? How do you know that this person is intelligent? How do you know that this person falls into the category of the people that I will love to develop as emerging leaders? The first thing is there in intelligence is mental quickness. Mental quickness is the ability to respond mentally fast. Yes, that is. If you look at somebody like Peter, for those of you who are Christians, you see him. Once Jesus said something, before you know, he has put himself into so many things. Some of the things he did were good. Some of the things he did, they were bad. And Jesus has to keep adjusting him and adjusting him. But that is also, and I'm not saying that when you are forward, that is, it means you are intelligent. No. But everything is calculated in your mind. Now something is happening. Before you know, you are just taking one, two, three, four, five, and before you know, you are coming out with a solution. You are coming out with an answer. You are coming out with a strategy. You are coming out with an idea. This is what I'm talking about. The ability to be mentally quick. Look for people with that are having the what we call street smarts. Very fast guys that can. Some of them are into sales. Some of them are into businesses. Some of them are also into things that are not. Get that. Now, the kind of mental savvy that require the process of a lot of information. When a person is mentally quick, obviously they have gone beyond just what you are telling them. They know some things about what you are saying. Things don't just come to them as first hand. No, they have an idea about it. They know how to figure, they know how to sort it, they know how to come out from that area. They have a lot of, when you say something, men and women that are intelligent, they will have to process what you are saying. And while you are speaking, they are processing at the same time. They sift what you are saying. They have to actually take some out and take some in, and then they also have to consider a lot of options, because that is what a mental quickness can do. And generally, before you know, they are coming out with a decision. Now, you see, you are still talking, you are still instructing, you are still advising, or you are doing some things, but they have gone ahead to even look at the strategy, how it's going to be done, the time frame, with who is going to be done, at what probably price or energy that needs to be done. And they will come up with the right decision. So instead of people arguing and say, well, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say, look for people that can actually be considered as intelligent. And so you have to look at those areas. Also look for someone with people that with an eager and curious mind, intellectual elasticity. Now, there are some people that when you give them something, just because they don't know, they don't want to think. They just tell you, I don't know. But there are people who will tell you, well, I don't know what you're saying for now, but I'm going to think about it and I will get back to you. So make sure you allow people that are in this class and in this category to think. Let them move forward. Let them move from where they are. Let them stretch in their thinking. Now, you don't come up with just 1, 2, 3 results or solutions. You come up with maybe 6, and then out of 6, you process which among the 6 can actually handle this. Others can be left in the store. But you have to get people that are that have the mind, and it has to go to elasticity, which means they can keep going and keep going without being snapping. They know how to move and continue to move in those areas. When you do things like this, you will. So with all of this, from what I said, what are the qualities? And if you begin to look at all those things, they come in different ways. So first, we have the phase A, and then we have phase B, and then we have all of that. But the first one is, how do you develop emerging leaders? We talked about that. The second one, what qualities do you see in these people that will make your work a bit easier and fruitful? No, nobody wants to just go and pour something and then you're not getting results. No, you must have results. Jesus did a very great job. David in the Bible had 600 men, and he began to work on them, and all the 600, he actually never lost one. Jesus lost one. And then you find that Paul also raised a lot of leaders. So in your organization, in your ministry, how many people are you raising, and how are you raising them? What are your criteria for picking these people that you are? We can't always be saying, this is my nephew, this is my niece, this is my that. No, you have to actually cross those boundaries, because we are looking at general qualities that will make you become a very great person. I want you to understand very well, invest in people, like we have said. learn to do that, and then trust them. And it is because of these last qualities that they can become your steward, they can become great, and they can do great things which you are looking for as you begin to move in the things we come in. We have talked about how to entrust, and absolutely you can entrust a person who has stewardship quality. You can give such a person, this is what I want you to do, this is what, and I know you are going to be accountable for all of this. We should be people who also come to the point of saying, I have people skill, I know how to work with people, not just project. You cannot just go and begin to do project. For example, if you are a very great instrumentalist, and you don't relate with people, you are just going to be a funny instrumentalist, because you are going to there'll be no joy, there'll be no enthusiasm, people are not going to be very, very friendly with you, and before you know, it will begin to spill over. What I'm saying is that become a person who relates well with the top skills that you have and with your intelligence, and that you submit to authority and allow people to actually also grow you and develop you. By so doing, you will also pass it to the next generation. I want to let you know that on this note, I want you to take proper time and say, this is what I'm going to do. And for you that are leaders, I want you to know, in developing people, you need patience. You really need patience, absolutely. Sometimes we want them to just know. You are speaking as somebody giving address to somebody. When you are giving an address or a direction for somebody to meet you or to come to your house, because you have been going there to your house all the days, it's very simple. They just say, take this one, turn from this area, turn this way, you just see the house. It's easy because you know it. But when somebody is coming, it's not. So when you want to develop people, don't use your standard and your level at that. Come to their level. Know that, yes, there is a struggle with them. There must be something they will not understand. There is something they will misunderstand. There will be something that it will be kicking against what they actually know. You have to come to their level and just look at them and say, yes, we are all here and we're going to grow up together. Give them the opportunity to fail and make mistakes and correct them. Yes, there are some that will need rebukes. There are some that will need some discipline. There are some that will, when you know them individually, you will know how each one of them receives and admires correction. Some people can never change until you yell at them. Some, when you yell at them, you make them completely look so stupid and they will begin to run away from you. So learn and know people. That's why we're talking about the people skill as a quality that you are going to actually have. And then be intelligent, even you yourself. Be in their feelings, know their thoughts, come around their area, take their position, take their situation, and put yourself in that area. By so doing, you will. I want to believe that you will begin to work towards it and build it. It's not something you can do right away, but you can begin to practice. Pick one thing, work on it until you are probably 50-70% of it. Then you move on to that. By doing so, it will be easier and cheaper for every one of us here to do the best. I want to see you raise people. I want people to begin to testify about you. If not because of this person, nobody. He saw me, he picked me, he invested in me, he grew me, he influenced me, and he exposed me, and sent me, and he entrusted me with responsibility. I want to say thank you. Keep doing the best that you can, and thank you till we see again. Thank you.